Most people think the DVLA is about to rip up their driving license the moment they turn 66. But what almost nobody realizes is that the real danger isn't a new law. It's a hidden rule that's been on the books for years, and it's already costing ordinary drivers thousands of pounds in fines. Right now, viral posts are spreading fear across Facebook and WhatsApp. They claim that by 2026, anyone over 60 will face annual driving tests, immediate bans for common medications, and even confiscation of their car. That sounds terrifying, doesn't it? But here's the truth the scammers don't want you to know. It's mostly rubbish. However, and this is critical, the government is reviewing driver licensing rules. The DVLA has confirmed a potential crackdown on eyesight tests and medical reporting for drivers over 70. The biggest mistake people are making right now is ignoring the difference between a conspiracy theory and a genuine rule change. If you get this wrong, you don't just lose your license. You lose your car, your independence, and you could end up with a criminal record for driving without valid insurance. This video isn't about scaring you. It's about arming you with the exact facts from gov.uk so you can stay on the road, keep your money safe, and ignore the noise. Stick with me, because later in this video I'll reveal the one health condition that drivers are failing to declare more than any other, and why that single checkbox could void your entire car insurance. Let's address the elephant in the room immediately. 2026. Why is everyone talking about it? Because the DVLA's current 3-year renewal cycle for drivers over 70 means that by January 2026, a massive wave of renewals will collide with a new government review on road safety. The Department for Transport isn't planning to ban over 60s. That's nonsense. But they are looking at closing loopholes. Specifically, they want to tighten the rules on who declares what and when. Why does this matter to you right now, today? Because misinformation spreads faster than legislation. I've seen people in their early 60s voluntarily hand back their license because a neighbor told them the law is changing. That's a tragedy. And on the flip side, I've seen 78-year-olds assume they don't need to tell the DVLA about a stroke, only to face a £1,000 fine. By the end of this video, you will understand 3 things. First, the actual proposed changes for 2026. Second, the current rules you must obey today to avoid fines. And third, the single insurance trap that catches more retired drivers than anything else. There's one specific group of drivers I'm very worried about, and group number 3 is where things become serious. Let's start by destroying the myths. If you go on social media right now, you will see posts claiming that anyone over 60 will need an annual driving test from April 2026. That is false. There is no proposal for annual driving tests for over 60s. None. The DVLA's own website is crystal clear. You can drive until you are 70 on your original license. After 70, you renew every 3 years, not by retaking a test, but by self-declaring you are fit to drive. But here is where the confusion starts. The government is piloting a scheme to allow GPs to report medically unfit drivers directly to the DVLA without your consent. Currently, you are supposed to self-report. By 2026, that might change. This isn't a ban. It's a reporting shift. Consequence: if you ignore this because you assume it's all fake news, you might fail to check a box you actually need to check. Solution: ignore Facebook. Go to gov.uk and search DVLA medical conditions. Print the list. Tick them off one by one. If you have any doubt, speak to your GP, not your neighbor. Open loop. But what happens if the DVLA decides you aren't fit to drive? That leads us to a very expensive appeal process. This is where things become expensive. The number one reason drivers over 60 lose their license isn't age. It's eyesight. Right now, the law requires you to read a number plate from 20 meters. That's roughly 5 car lengths. But here's the secret the DVLA doesn't shout about. There's no mandatory test at renewal. You just sign a form saying you can see. The 2026 review is almost certainly going to change that. Experts predict a shift towards mandatory digital eye tests linked to your renewal. If you fail, you're off the road immediately. The statistic: according to a 2023 study by the College of Optometrists, nearly 1 in 5 drivers over 65 are driving with vision below the legal standard, and they don't know it. Real example: Imagine a retired couple named Jean and David. David, aged 68, develops early cataracts. He doesn't notice because it's gradual. He renews his license online and ticks OK. 6 months later, he pulls out in front of a lorry. The police test his eyes. He fails. The fine, unlimited, plus 3 to 6 penalty points. But worse, his insurance is void. Solution for you. Don't wait for 2026. Get an eye test tomorrow. Specsavers does them for around £25. If you need glasses to drive, wear them. If your vision is failing, surrender the license voluntarily. It's cheaper than a fine and much safer. Open loop. We just mentioned voided insurance. That leads us to the hidden financial time bomb most drivers ignore. But what happens next surprises many people. Because even if you have a perfect driving record, one undiagnosed condition can wipe out your entire savings. Here is the current rule that will hurt you. You have a legal duty to tell the DVLA about any notifiable medical condition. That includes epilepsy, stroke, dementia, Parkinson's, diabetes on insulin, and even sleep apnea. Most people think, my doctor will tell them. Wrong. Your GP has no legal duty to tell the DVLA. You do. If you have a mini-stroke today and drive tomorrow without telling the DVLA, you are committing an offense. The numbers. Fine, up to £1,000. Penalty. You can be prosecuted if you cause an accident. Insurance. They will refuse to pay. If you crash into a Porsche, you pay for the Porsche. The 2026 review is exploring a direct referral system. If that passes, your doctor becomes a reporter. But until then, the responsibility is yours alone. The hidden rule. Many over 60s take medication for high blood pressure or arthritis. Most of these are not notifiable. But if your medication causes drowsiness, check the leaflet. And you drive. The law treats you like a drunk driver. Solution. Keep a driving diary. Every time you start a new prescription, wait 48 hours before driving to see how it affects you. And if you have a diagnosis of anything serious, do not hide it. Call the DVLA's medical team on 0300 790 6806. They are helpful, not punitive. So you report a condition. The DVLA says no. Can you appeal? Yes, but the process is brutal unless you know the secret. Imagine you have controlled diabetes. You've had it for 20 years. You report it, and the DVLA revokes your license. Now what? Most people give up. Don't. You have the right to appeal to a magistrate's court. But here's the data point that saves people. Over 40% of medical driving appeals are successful when the driver provides a specialist letter. An appeal costs £50 to file. A private consultant letter costs £150 to £300. That is a fraction of the cost of losing your car, your job, if you still work, and your independence. Real scenario. A 72-year-old man in Manchester had his license revoked after a single, mild seizure. His GP said he was fine. The DVLA said 1-year ban. He appealed with a neurologist's report. He got his license back in 8 weeks. The 2026 factor. The new rules might tighten the appeal window. Instead of 6 months to appeal, they might cut it to 28 days. You need to act fast. Solution. If you get a revocation letter, do not drive. That's a criminal offense. But do not sit there crying. Immediately book a specialist. Use the Form B1256 to request your medical records. Find one contradiction in the DVLA's decision and you win. Open loop. We've talked about fines and bans. But the silent killer here is your car insurance premium. Let's talk about pounds and pence. Because even if you keep your license perfectly legally, you are about to get hit in the wallet. Insurance companies share data with the DVLA via a system called MID, Motor Insurance Database. If the 2026 rules require more frequent medical checks, the insurers will see those flags. The financial consequence. A 65-year-old driver with a clean record currently pays roughly £300 to £500 for comprehensive cover. If you have a notifiable condition that is declared, that premium might rise to £600. If you fail to declare it and they find out, they will, via your NHS number. They will cancel your policy. A canceled policy is a disaster for the rest of your life. You have to tick the box, Have you ever had insurance canceled? That adds 40% to your premium for the next 5 years. The data. According to Confused.com, a canceled policy cost the average driver an extra £1,200 over 3 years. The solution: be boring. Declare everything. Get a black box if they offer it. Call specialist brokers like Staysure or Aegeus. They are used to over 60s with conditions. Do not use a comparison site if you have a complex medical history. They miss the nuance. The final warning: the biggest danger right now isn't a new law in 2026. It's the complacency between now and then. People hear 2026 and think, I've got years. You don't. The review is happening now. The consultation ends sooner than you think. Let me pull this together for you, because I know this is a lot to process. First, do not panic. You are not going to lose your license on your 61st birthday because of some viral Facebook lie. You keep your license until 70, and then renew it every 3 years by post or online. That is the law today, and it won't change tomorrow. Second, the real 2026 threat is about medical reporting and eyesight. The government wants to close the loophole where thousands of drivers are currently self-certifying perfect vision when they can barely see the speed limit. Expect stricter checks. Expect GPs to be more involved. And expect fines to rise for noncompliance. Third, the financial risk is not the fine. The fine is £1,000. Annoying but survivable. The real risk is voided insurance. If you crash without valid insurance because you hit a stroke from the DVLA, you lose your car, you lose your savings, and you could even lose your home if you injure someone and they sue you for damages. You need to take 3 actions today. Action 1, book an eye test. Not next month. Tomorrow. Action 2, go to your medicine cabinet. Look at every prescription. Google drug name and driving DVLA. If it says may cause dizziness, do not drive for 48 hours after starting it. Action 3. If you have any condition you haven't declared, diabetes, sleep apnea, heart issues, call the DVLA medical line tomorrow morning. They are not the enemy. The enemy is silence. Do not let misinformation steal your independence. And do not let a £25 eye test cost you your entire retirement savings. If you found this useful, and I mean genuinely useful, not the usual YouTube fluff, hit that subscribe button. I release videos every week cutting through the noise on DVLA changes, state pension updates, and the hidden rules from HMRC and the DWP that affect your wallet. Click the like button if you're over 60 and proud to be a safe driver. And share this video with one friend who keeps sending you those WhatsApp warnings. They need the facts more than the fear. I'll see you in the next one. Drive safe.